Hello, everybody, and welcome to 3D Printing and Painting in my live stream today. I have special guest Maker Walton Harris, and I'd like to especially thank StreamYard, one of my sponsors, for bringing this great program to everyone and allowing me to use it. And my other sponsors are ZYLTECH and Arion PLA. So thank you very much for that. And let me bring Walton in here and we'll get going. Hello, Walton. How are you today?
Hey, I'm good, Jerry. How are you?
Oh, pretty good. So it's been a few weeks since I've had a live stream, and I've been trying to get you on for quite a while. You're an awesome maker, and you do some really awesome models and painting, and I'm so happy that you're here. And
Well, I appreciate it, Jerry. I appreciate the kind words. Sorry to put you off for so long, but I've had a pretty full schedule lately.
Yeah, and thank you everybody that's watching. David Sell, Robbie Mack, Betty Boop, and anybody else who drops in. Thank you for joining us. Squeeze Studios. So I'd like to start off, Walton, if I could. How long have you been into 3D printing and painting, and what got you interested?
Well, first of all, I've been a model builder ever since I was a young kid. In fact, when I was a little boy, I needed to learn how to read as quickly as possible so that I could build the big boy models and not just the little snap together kits. So I've been a model maker forever. About 6 years ago, a trip to Micro Center, and they had a 3D printer set up there, and I was just enthralled with it. I was, literally just. So I got one, and then I got another one, and they were little tiny microspec machines, a power spec. And I was printing, this little trinket and that little trinket off of Thingiverse and really enjoying it. And then I happened to come across the video of Uncle Jesse. And if you don't know Uncle Jesse, you should look him up on YouTube. He's got a fantastic channel. He prints a lot of awesome stuff. He's not a real technical guy. He's a fan and a prop maker and does beautiful work. He loves cosplay. He loves games. But he was making a Batman mask. And the mask was designed by Carmelo Nazario, who is another great maker. And those guys really opened me up to what was really possible on a 3D printer. And I messaged Uncle Jesse and I said, hey, I know you don't know me. Can I ask you some questions? And he was really open, and he said, shoot, man, let her fire. And we just started a dialogue. And so one printer became two, became four, became three. And I've had all kinds of different printers now. I've played with a lot of different filaments and paints, and I kind of have a process that works for me right now. So I'm just enjoying it. I love it.
Yeah. Didn't you recently just order one of those big printers like Uncle Jesse's currently got?
I have the Peopoli Phenom is less than 500 miles from my house.
Wow.
It'll be delivered tomorrow before 10:30. So I am pretty excited. It's coming. I've got about 30 liters of resin sitting in the other room. So I'm ready to make some big prints.
Wow, that's going to be awesome. Obviously, you're going to hollow them if you make a big print, because that'll burn up all your resin.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Now, I made one print, and I think we'll show it here at some point in time. As an experiment, I printed it solid, and it's like about a 16-inch Iron Man. They say you're not supposed to print them solid because it'll leak, but I have a pretty rigorous curing process, and I haven't experienced any leakages or anything with that, but you definitely usually hollow for cost effectiveness. A lot of times I'll leave hands and heads and smaller parts solid. Another thing that I'll leave solid once in a while is if it's a really complex geometry, and when you hollow it out, you wind up with vacant chambers throughout the model. A lot of times it won't print because that creates what's called a cup. And so then when it goes to peel up off of the FEP or whatever your vat bottom is, you'll destroy your vat. So sometimes you just have to print solid.
Yeah, I've been resin printing for probably 2.5 to 3 months now with my Elegoo Mars, and I hollowed a few prints. I was putting them in my ultrasonic cleaner using green mean to flush them, and I wasn't getting all the resin out. And as it cured, and I had I had problems after I glued the model together. I had some things leaking, so now I go from simple green to alcohol IPA, and I rinse really well with alcohol, and then I go to the sink and rinse it good with water, dry it completely, and then I put it in my chamber to dry it after that. And so far, it seems to be working.
That's pretty close to what I do. One of the other resin printers that I have is the Form 2, and I've learned a lot from the Form 2. It's a really good printer, quality-wise. Excuse me, Formlabs. Quality-wise, I prefer the Elegoo Mars. I believe that the MSLA technology with the LCD screen is just superior to the laser, so that's why I'm excited about the Phenom. But the Form 2 comes with a wash station, and there's 2 vats. It's kind of like doing dishes at a restaurant. First, you have the dirty water, and you basically do a rinse, and then you dip it into the second vat, and that's where you really clean it. So that's what I do. The first IP bath gets off the bulk stuff. Then it goes in the second IP bath, and that really cleans it. And then I drop it in my ultrasonic cleaner. Right now I'm using, it's called Magic Yellow, but it's basically the same thing as Simple Green. It's just a high strength detergent. But I'm actually going to switch to Simple Green after I'm done with this Magic Yellow. And then I wash it, with hot water and make sure that it's clean. If it's hollowed, I dunk it in the water and get it full, and then shake it real hard 2 or 3 times to make sure you get the resin out. And that's an important step, because more than once I haven't done that, and then I get to painting it and I find out that resin starts dripping out of my drain holes, and that kind of is upsetting when you're in the paint stage.
Yeah, I had a Batman from Batman and the Kids that I had cleaned without IPA and dried it and glued it together, and then like a week later I went over and it looked like his chest burst open like an alien baby coming out. It's like, what happened to that?
I saw that
Something
picture.
Crazy happened there.
Did you turn that into a diorama and put a chest hugger or a face hugger and everything there?
I probably should have. So quite a few models that I get, I tend to try to paint them like the designer, his render, and that's not always the right way, because a lot of designers, throw whatever colors on it, try to make it look as good as they can, and I need to kind of change things up. And I noticed a lot of your models that you put other tidbits in there and you add things and change things to improve the model.
Well, I do, because there are a lot of incredibly talented 3D modelers out there, and I cannot do that. I can model small geometric things, but modeling people and organic stuff is beyond my skill set. So hats off to them. But my theme is, once I buy the files and I download it, it's my model. Mm-hmm. My creative process takes over. So I might put a different hand on it. I might change something up. I might grind something off. I almost always make my own base. I have a glow forge, so I prefer to take a logo or something that's related to the model, and I make my own bases up. That's just my calling card, and part of my process to make a model, Wally's model.
Here's a couple of your prints. I'll pull up one here. This is your Captain America.
If any of you are in the group that got this model, you know that the story behind this is a long one.
Yes.
This model was a disaster. The original artist bailed, and a lot of other talented people stepped in to fix it. This was actually printed from the original files. Sometimes I think I'll go back and reprint it, the corrected ones, but then I realized how much work it is. But it turned out to be a pretty good model. I sent the hammer and the hand to my buddy Garrett in Nebraska, and he's got a YouTube channel, and his channel is Chaos Cortec. He is an amazing modeler. He remodeled the hand to hold the hammer, so that's a custom job. I found the top of the flagpole on Thingiverse and printed that out. I drew there's two. You can only see one right over his shoulder, but the flag holders, I drew those up and printed them out. This is one of my favorite models, just for a lot of customizations.
When I printed that, I went ahead and I printed the flag. And then after I did, I'm thinking, how am I going to paint all these stars on here? So then I noticed you and some other people had used a real flag. So I went to the dollar store and got some real flags.
Now, I also, when I did that flag, I sprayed it pretty heavily with clear spray paint so that I could bend it. And so, because I wanted it to hang the way I wanted it to hang, because it's so small, it doesn't really, when it hangs, it's flat. It doesn't really look to scale. So I had to kind of mold it.
And here's another model here. This is, I believe, Batman from Batman Sanity.
That's the Batman from the middle of the Sanity model. Yeah. I've got all of those printed, but Batman is the only thing that I finished so far.
And like me, as a lot of people know that watch my channel or on Facebook, I print and don't paint. And I have this printed, but it's not painted yet. But that looks awesome. Done a really good job on it.
You got to love Batman.
Yeah. And let's see, here we have, let's see.
That's the one that's solid. That's the Mark 50 from Sanix. I kind of doctored up the bottom, the rocket engine, and I used an enlarged chest piece as the base. But yeah, that's the one that I printed solid. That paint, a lot of people have asked about that paint. That is auto paint, and it's a brand called Inspire, and they're pre-mixed for airbrush and ready to go out of the bottle. And the whole thing is painted gold as the base. And then candy colors, as everyone knows, are always painted over a metallic base. So you do that candy red over that gold, and you really get that deep, rich look. It's got a great, there's no clear coat on that. That red is just phenomenally clear, glossy paint. It's just good stuff.
Okay. I assumed that you were using a different primer since I prime everything in gray unless I'm going to chrome. If I chrome, I use a high gloss black to make the chrome pop. What was your original primer? Was it gray or?
It is a gray primer. I've got pictures of the stuff that I use for priming, and we can do that now or we can do it later, but I'll kind of show you what I do as my process. If you want to share my screen,
okay,
Jerry. Let's see. I'm going to share screen. I'm going to share this one. Okay. First of all, when I get the model all cleaned off, I take this spot putty and I thin it with acetone. And then I just use a stiff bristled brush and I brush the putty on.
Can you double click it to make it big? The picture?
Well, it's full screen on. Well, hold on. There we go. That's what you want, right?
Okay, I missed you're not sharing anymore.
Okay.
There we go.
There we go. Sorry, I'm a noob. So I take this putty and I thin it with acetone and I brush it on. I specifically try to brush across the layer lines. The acetone evaporates really fast, so you can brush on a coat and sand it. And then I have an electric toothbrush and I cut off all the bristles.
Wow.
Then there's a disc of art foam from Walmart or Hobby Lobby. So I super glue this disc of art foam on, and that's the black. And then I have all grits of adhesive backed sandpaper cut out. So I use this just like you would an orbital sander for your car or whatever, except it's scaled down to work for the model. So then I start sanding it down, and here's a bunch of pieces that have had the primer brushed on it. There's another shot of it with the toothbrush. And you can see that I've started doing a little sanding. And you keep going until you're ready for the primer. It doesn't really hide details as much as you'd think it does. So this is the primer that I actually use. It's Badger. It's pre-mixed for the airbrush. For the longest time, I used the filler spray from the auto body shop, just gray primer. But then I've started using this. This is amazing stuff. It's self-leveling. It covers really great. The only complaint I had about it at first was it was hard to clean up, but I found what cleans it up. And this from Iwata, and all these are available on Amazon. This cleans that stuff up great. Now, the Badger people are coming out with a new 3D prime, and I'm getting ready to order some of that. This is a 2-step process that I'm really excited to try. Level 1, or step 1, is a surface smoother that you spray up to 3 coats on there, and it's supposed to fill in the gaps. And then you sand, and then you do a color prime. So I'm pretty excited to try that out. Here is, and 3D models, figures aren't the only thing I do. Here's a couple other things. These are all Christmas gifts. My nephew's a UPS driver, so he got a NASCAR UPS last year. This is a shelf hat rack that I made for my daughter because she loves the turtles. The turtles are actually sprayed with it's Flex Seal. Sprayed with Flex Seal, so it looks and feels like rubber. Pretty realistic. This is a train track that I printed, and all of this is in the 3D builder that comes with Windows. So I printed all those parts out.
Okay.
And the last one here is the T-Rex from Thingiverse.
Wow, that's cool.
Put it in a glass case and everything. So those are some other projects that I've done. If you're interested in my shop space, here's a quick tour. Everything's on these big rolling racks. So here's my FDM table. I've got 2 CR10s on the bottom, and a CR10 S5 and S4 on top. They're all set up exactly the same. I use a Swiss Micro all metal hot end. I use TH3D firmware. They all have Kenevo bed heaters on them. I've tried a lot of other printers, and I won't say that these are better or worse, but I have these dialed in to get the results that I want. So right now I'm happy with this. Mr. Buttram is asking if you're going to show the Rocketeer. You bet we'll show that Rocketeer here in a minute. So then I've got, actually I have 4 of these Mars now, and this is a curing station that I built. There's 2 UV lights in there and a heater on the top and a rotating table inside to cure with. I have an entire basement for my fun station. I've got plenty of space. So there's one view, and here's the other view. And here's my spray booth. I built this custom spray booth, and I use furnace filters that I can slide in and out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's hooked up to this big fan from Harbor Freight to suck out all the air. So that's my workspace.
Wow. Very nice.
Thank you.
Rocketeer. Do I have that picture?
I think so.
Oh, here it is. Wow.
It's a good model. That one and several others that I made were drawn by Simon Walker. He's from the UK. He's got a channel, 3D Junkies. He does some pretty good work. I like Simon's work. He actually made that one for me. It's a private commission. There's two of these. The first one I gave to my son for his birthday, and then I printed this one to take to the show.
Mm-hmm. Let me jump into another picture here. Let's see. Does Wally have a YouTube channel? German 3D printing nerd is wondering if you have a YouTube channel.
I am working on setting up a channel right now. Twitter is the best place to follow me right now, but I've got all my channel stuff set up, and I've started filming the projects that I'm working on now. So probably we'll have a channel sometime here in the near future.
And the German 3D printing nerd has been wanting me for a while to do a daytime stream, because usually on Tuesday nights at 6 o'clock here in the U.S., it's the middle of the night over there, and a lot of people are unable to watch it live. So this is why I went Sunday, so a lot of people in the UK and other places around the world can drop in live. And here's a Thanos. You had this at Earth. This is awesome.
I did have that at Earth. Thanos is 100% PLA and use that sanding technique that I described earlier. He's on an acrylic base, and you can see the portal behind him. There's all the infinity stones are on the bottom of the base at his feet, and those are lit up. And inside the portal there is random. The lights flash randomly to kind of look like lightning. So he's opening up the portal and getting ready to step through.
Do you have a pi or something on that to make them flash randomly, or how'd you do that?
It's an Arduino. It's all powered by an Arduino.
Okay. Here's another angle of it. Excellent painting.
There you can see the Arduino laying on the bench there.
Oh, I see. Very nice. And here we go. Let's see. Silver Surfer.
That's another Sanix model. He is painted with a brand new chrome paint that I've been playing with. It's from a company called Molotow, Molotow. And they specialize in graffiti paints. I initially found the chrome, liquid chrome it's called, in a pen and a paint pen, and I was using it for detail work. So it's great for like buttons and belt buckles and things like that, accents. And then I discovered that they had a refill for the paint pen, so I ordered some of that, and it's alcohol based. So I threw some in this airbrush, and it sprays beautifully. You can thin it with IP a little bit, 1-to-1 ratio, to make it go a little longer. But when it sprays on and it's wet, it is incredible. The downside to this is it takes, for it to 100% dry and cure, it takes nearly a month.
Wow.
During that time, it does not like to be touched or it loses its shine. It also does not like a clear coat. Now, I have two brand new clear coats that I haven't tried yet. One from Redline and a different Aclid 2 clear that I'm going to try. that some other people, some YouTube videos that I found, they claim that once this is good and dry, you can spray those over it and it won't dull it. So I'm anxious to try that, because this is better than any chrome treatment that I've found. For those of you that have been on the chrome treatment train for a while, you know how difficult it is. And usually you have to, no matter what paint you're going with, you have to have a smooth model to begin with. Because when you do shiny, imperfections in the model show up bad. So you got to start with the smooth model. But most of those treatments, then you move to a high gloss black. And then a lot of them, you mist the chrome paint on. You don't spray it on directly. You just mist it over, and the mist of the chrome with the black underneath it creates a pretty good chrome. This, however, achieves all of that in a one-step process. I've sprayed this over other colors. I sprayed it over gray primer, and you just spray it on directly. You got to keep a wet edge, and what that means when you're airbrushing, you got to move quick, and you got to make sure that you're overlapping your layers, so you got wet edge against wet edge, because the overspray dulls. So Silver Surfer was a hard one to do, because that's the whole body glued together, so you really have to keep moving. If you're doing a figure and it's cut in a way that you have the luxury of painting the arms and the legs and parts separately, then you could achieve a really good effect with this chrome paint, because you could just spray it on, and then you're going to have to let it sit and cure really good. If you're interested in, watch me on Twitter. When my channel is ready, I'll make it known on Twitter, and I will explain the chrome and the clear treatments that work with it. Because if this can be sealed, this is a great way to go chrome on 3D models.
When I first tried chrome, I sprayed directly over top of gray primer, and I had silver. And then I found out from Kevin Sharp, he's a high gloss black.
Yep.
And then I had chrome, but then I found out if you spray the chrome too heavy, like you're saying, now you're back to silver again. You have to do a light coat. You see a mirror finish, then stop, and do not put any kind of a sealer over top of it, or you'll dull it and lose that shine.
That's exactly right. And that's what happens to this if you chrome it, or if you seal it with a clear that it doesn't get along with. You have this nice chrome look, and you spray your clear on, and then you've immediately turned it in to Kmart aluminum spray paint.
Yeah. And if you're ever not sure, you could always do a test sample on a scrap piece of plastic just to see what would happen with whatever you're trying to.
Everybody's got enough failed prints laying around to test stuff.
I done a video like 6 months ago where I saved every one of my scraps and every one of my spools. And I had like 180 spools, which I eventually recycled. And I had a huge box that covered my table of scraps. And I finally just threw them out. It was just taking up too much room. So let's see here. And here, this is Captain America.
Classic Captain America. He's part of a trio that I did. Invincible Iron Man, Thor, and Classic Cap, more of a comic book. He is all in resin. And there's a good example of the custom acrylic bases that I like to print. It's just some layers of acrylic there, cut out with graphics that I've found on the internet, and cut them out on the laser. He's got a little Hydra logo there.
Uh-huh. How big is that? 12 to 15 inches?
I kind of started out with some Sanix models, just printing them at 200%, because I liked that size. So now I just scale everything. I load up one of the other models in S3D, and then I scale it so that it matches size-wise. They all are about 16 inches tall. Thanos is an exception because to keep things to scale, Thanos is a lot taller than all of those other figures. Thanos is about 26 inches tall.
It's very nice. And here we have an Iron Man. This, I believe, is from Tony Chambers' group, 3D Crowdfund, right?
Yes. Yeah, that's the Invincible Iron Man. That is the same paint process as the other one with the Inspire paints with the gold base. He's all resin. And one of the legs is solid because I forgot to hollow it. So that happens once in a while. That's a super model. It's great work.
Excellent. I think we need to do a giveaway here for all you guys out there that are watching on YouTube. I have 2 giveaways. One is from, I'm losing my train of thought, ZYLTECH here in the U.S. giving away a roll of pumpkin spice. So my first giveaway is going to be for anybody watching. It's in the USA. And let me pull up my other screen here.
Now, Jerry, can that pumpkin spice be added to your coffee?
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't want to drink it, but I guess you could let it float around, make a design in it like they do at the coffee shops.
There you go.
Let's see. All righty. We got a comment. And all you that are watching here on YouTube in the USA, the word for the giveaway for pumpkin spice ZYLTECH PLA is going to be ship. I just posted. It'll pop up here in about 10 seconds. So if you're in the USA and you'd like to have a chance on winning, the word is ship. Let's see.
I see red lights asking about resin printers. I have 4 Elegoo Mars, and I have a Form 2. I prefer the prints that I'm getting off the Mars, oddly enough. But the Elegoo Mars, or the Form 2, gives me more print volume. However, tomorrow that's going to change because I've got the Phenom from Pia Poly coming, and it has a build volume of 276 by 155 by 400. And that's the MSLA technology using the LCD screen. So I'm expecting that to be my new favorite printer starting tomorrow.
All righty, everybody enter the word ship. Does everybody have the word ship in for the USA for the giveaway for the ZYLTECH pumpkin spice? Give it another minute here and then I'll draw it.
While we're waiting, I don't know if anybody follows the 3D printing nerd, Joel Telling. He published a video today about a machine where you can make your own filament. It's obviously like any technology when it first comes out, it's really pricey. In fact, really puts it out of the reach for normal hobbyists like you and I and most of the people watching. But the exciting part about it is every technology that we like and use every day now was incredibly expensive when it first came out. So hopefully down the road, there'll be the opportunity where we can take all of our supports and failed prints and regrind them and regenerate PLA and do away with a lot of our waste.
And our winner is 3D Print Viking. That's here in the USA. You just won a roll of ZYLTECH pumpkin spice. Here's my email. I'll put it up in chat. Please email me your mailing information and where, what state and your address and everything. And I'll get that over to Leslie Fleming from ZYLTECH, and let's get that sent out right away. and you'll receive it in a few days.
Congratulations.
That was fun. I like giving away stuff. Let's move on to a few pictures here.
That is the Mark II. That is another private commission by Simon Walker. It is painted with that Molotov liquid chrome, and I couldn't be happier with it. I think it came out great. That chrome just pops. That personally for me is one of my favorite models, because there's Iron Man models out the wazoo left and right, but nobody other than Sideshow, nobody has ever modeled that Mark II, and that has always been one of my personal favorites. That is 100% resin. That model was, after Simon delivered it to me, was printed, sanded, and painted in 3 days.
It's very nice. And here we have Alita.
Alita Battle Angel. She's from CG Trader. I don't know the name of the artist. Please forgive me. But you can find her on CG Trader. And that is fantastic work. I did something with Alita. I tried something with her that I haven't tried before. Well, first of all, before I get to that, I sure wish that I had found that liquid chrome paint before I did her, because I would much rather do the robotic arms with that chrome paint. But what I tried with her is her eyes are decals. So I captured pictures of her eyes from stills on the internet and printed them out, scaled them right on decal paper, printed them out, sealed them, and slid them off. And I'm pretty happy with the result. I think it came out great.
I printed that in blue PLA, but I haven't glued her together yet and painted her. Like usual, I print more than I paint. It looks very nice.
Black Widow. This is another Simon Cowell piece. Not Simon Cowell. That's
Sanix.
Yep. No, that's not Sanix.
No?
Simon Cowell is American Idol. I don't know why that popped into my head. Simon Walker. She's all in resin. And it doesn't show up great in the picture, but she's all her outfit is in a matte black. And then all of the leather treatments and whatnot are covered with gloss clear. And it's really attractive looking. That you can see it a little bit on the belt and stuff, but she came out really great. And I did the decals for her eyes as well. And she's 100% resin.
And the next picture here, I believe this is by Jody Reimer, correct?
That is correct. That is an awesome model. He's just released Lady Thor over on Special STLs. If you're interested in this or the Lady Thor, you can look for him on Special STLs, or he has a Patreon page.
I have links below in the description for both.
This is an awesome model. Jody cuts his models differently than I've ever seen anybody cut them before. And it was very interesting, but it glued together great. This is one of my all-time favorite projects. I love this model. I'm very pleased with the way it came out, and the presentation and everything just came out great. I'm a fan.
All right. I have to do a re-roll. 3D Print Viking is in Norway. I just seen the comment. He didn't realize which drawing that we were running there. We're going to redraw the ZYLTECH pumpkin spice for USA only. If you're in the US only, the word is going to be Earth. EARTH. So if you're in the U.S. and you'd like to enter for the role of a ZYLTECH Pumpkin Spice, USA only, type in the word Earth. It should pop up on the screen here in a second.
Red Light says he got a Mars for $183. That's a great price, man.
Wow.
Enjoy that. That is one phenomenal printer. Make sure you've got some extra FEP on hand, and the additional screens right now I think are $20. Probably a good idea to have one or two on hand. That way when it goes out, because it will, those screens on MSLA printers, it's not a matter of if it will go out. It will. It's a consumable. It's going to degrade, and you're going to need to replace it. Never let the machine win. It was great to see you at Earth, and I'm glad to see you here. Also, I see Ed Nellis just popped in. Ed, how are you, buddy? I'm a fan of your work.
Yeah, Ed, that's just joining us. We're giving a roll of ZYLTECH PLA away, Pumpkin Spice, for here in the USA only. Please enter the word Earth, which is on the screen, EARTH. Everybody in the US, enter the word Earth. We'll do the drawing here in just a second.
The two things you'll want to get is FEP. That's the plastic film that's on the bottom of the vat. That will get cloudy or you'll rip it. You'll want to have extra ones of those. And then the other thing is the LCD screen. And you can get both of those on Amazon. Or you can get, well, I don't know if Elegoo has, if you can buy, I think you can to buy it directly from their website. Amazon's probably an easier way to get it. You'll want both of those things. Another good Mars tip that I would share with people. I've watched a lot of people that have damaged their screen when they take their VAT out. First of all, I don't take my VAT out every time and clean it. There's no point in it. If I'm printing with the same resin, I just refill and keep going. But when you do take your vat out, after you loosen the screws, don't just yank it out. Jiggle it side to side a little bit. Not up and down, side to side to make sure that it's loose, and then slide it out. Because if you've seeped resin and that's gotten hard underneath there, when you yank it out, you for sure are going to ruin the screen. So use caution when you remove your vat.
I've been applying FTPE oil, I believe it is, on the screen and in the vat, and I wipe it down really good with a microfiber rag, just so things don't stick.
I have tried that as well. I also have a thin strip of masking tape on each side of the screen that lifts my vat up a little bit. I put the tape down, and then I level with the piece of paper, and then I put my vat in. I've told that that tape keeps a vacuum from forming between the screen and the FEP sheet, so the vacuum doesn't ruin or prematurely wear out your screen. Whether that's true or not, I can't tell you. I've done it on all 4 machines, and I've just recently had to replace one screen on the first Mars that I bought, and the reason I replaced it was because there was an air bubble in the middle of the screen, and I had done a lot of prints on it. So
Robbie Mack is our winner. Sorry to interrupt. Robbie Mack, you have won a roll of ZYLTECH Rainbow Spice in chat. Here's my email. Please give me your mailing information, and I'll get Leslie Fleming from ZYLTECH to mail that out right away. Congratulations. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think I was done. That vat was just worn out. I had gotten all the life out of it I was going to get.
And I have one more giveaway for the UK or Canada. If you're watching from the UK or Canada on YouTube, I have one roll of silk copper PLA from Arion, from ZYLTECH with Arion. The word is going to be snake, SNAKE. So if you're in the UK or Canada watching only, not the US, type in the word snake, and we'll do one more drawing here. And as with the USA, I'll send you my email address, and you can give me your mailing information.
Pumpkin spice, not rainbow spice.
Pumpkin spice. Have I been saying rainbow spice? I'm sorry. My wife just popped in and said I'm saying rainbow spice. Pumpkin spice, sorry. I'm getting old, you know, my words get kind of mixed up. "3D Printing Nerd in Germany." If the UK is in Germany and ZYLTECH, that's her area, then that'd be a yes, but I don't know. It's covered for Canada and the UK. I'm not sure about Germany. There's Fragments. Hello, Frag. How are you doing?
Hey, Frag. How are you, buddy?
I hope you're home or in the hospital. I hope you're getting better. We're all praying for you.
If you guys,
everybody in Canada and the UK, if you've entered the word snake, we're going to have the drawing here in just a second. And let's roll it. Canada or the UK? It's saying I don't have any eligible users. Not sure what's going on here. Is nobody from the UK or Canada watching? Well, go ahead and keep talking for a minute, Walt. I need to fix this. See what's going on here.
if you guys don't know Frag, you can catch up to him on Special STLs. He has also started a group of his own. Hey, Frag, why don't you post the name of your group on Facebook? He is a great modeler. One of the things I like about Frag's work, other than it being excellent work, he's really diligent with the way that he cuts models up. Frag is different than a lot of 3D modelers because he also prints. And that's an important fact. But he cuts them up on natural lines so that you have the opportunity to paint separate parts and then put them together. So if you're looking for some great prints, look out for look into Frag's work. Frag Batman is coming along, but because it's a contest, I'm not going to show any pictures until we roll up on that contest date, because I'm going to try to blow people's minds. If that doesn't sound like I'm too full of myself, and I'm not. I'm just, you know what, I'm having fun, which is a good point to bring up. If you're tuned in here and you're looking for tips and tricks and stuff and wanting to see what other people are doing, here's the best tip that I can give you. Enjoy your hobby. If it's frustrating you, step back and have a Coke, have a smoke, have a drink, come back to it later, because it's all about enjoying it. And you know what? I know that there's prints out there better than mine. I'm not worried about what the other guy's doing. Whether you're happy to pull your print off the print bed and say, that's it, I like it, or whether you want to spend 10 minutes painting it, whether you want to spend 10 days painting it, it doesn't matter. The bottom line is you got to enjoy it, because that's what all this is about. Letting your creative side out and just enjoying it.
Let's try again for the UK and Canada. I reloaded Nightbot and see if it works this time. The word is going to be tool. Tool. Tool.
as in that Nightbot is a real tool.
Yes. So UK and Canada, please enter the word tool. And I'll be giving away a roll of silk copper filament from Arion, ZYLTECH. I don't know why this program gives me problems. I haven't used it that much, but I had to wait for it to populate. Let me show some more pictures here. Let's see. Oh, here's your table from Earth.
There's my Earth table. Yep.
Very nice. Did you have any problems with kids or anything coming by grabbing things or anything like that?
No, adults.
Okay.
I had a couple kids touch the at the bottom of Thanos's feet there. You can see the Infinity Stones. I had a couple kids reach out and touch them. They're not glued down because I wanted them. I left them loose in case I need to replace the LED. And as soon as the kids realized that they were loose, they pulled their hand back real quick and looked at me with great big eyes. But I had a couple adults that just, they could not touch it. One gal is looking at Silver Surfer and she says, "Can I touch it?" And I said, "No." And another guy is talking to me and he's putting his hands all over the Iron Man there. And I finally had to say, hey man, I'll listen to whatever you got to say, but let's don't touch the models. Oh, sorry. So
that would be the word that used once that I got tipped over and broke or something. Oh, sorry.
Well, yeah, and if one goes, look at the table. If one goes, they're all going.
Yeah. Those are probably pretty hard to pack and ship, weren't they? Did you use peanuts or foam or?
I bought a bunch of cushion seats, 1-inch thick foam rubber cushion seats, and a bunch of Walmart tubs. And I just kind of got my hobby knife out and custom cut my own layers, containers as I went. Thor's hammer broke. I broke one of the holsters off of Black Widow, but other than that, everything made it there fine. I fixed those real quick at the show with some super glue. On the way home, Captain America's arm popped off and Silver Surfer popped off the board. Other than that, everything traveled great. I didn't have any problems. A lot of people ask me, well, why did you drive? Because I live in Kansas, Topeka, Kansas. So it was a 17-hour drive to Earth. Why did you drive? And I told him, I said, if you've seen my models, you'd understand there's no way in the world I'm putting those in the belly of an airplane and look out the window and watching the guys load up the luggage as they're chucking it up in there. Yeah, that would be like nightmare times 10 for me. I do use magnets, Frag. In fact, the whole Thanos base is held together with magnets. It comes completely apart. The base is one piece, the upright is another piece, and then the vortex or the portal is two pieces, and it all comes apart with rare earth magnets. I cut my acrylic so that it fits in there, and Thanos himself is held onto the base with magnets. I glue a thin metal piece on the bottom of his feet, and the rare earth magnets are underneath the base, so he sits on there with magnets.
Let me interrupt real quick. The German 3D printing nerd, you are a winner. I will give you my email here. Please email your mailing information, and get ZYLTECH to mail you out that silk copper right away. For some reason, Nightbot didn't pop it up on the screen, so there's something going on crazy with Nightbot.
Congratulations. Free filament.
Email.
The only thing better than free filament is more free filament.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm waiting to get lots of free resin because I'm starting to get into resin printing and it's very expensive. And I'm pretty much hooked up on filament from different companies whenever I need some, but I need to get that way with resin now. So at some point they'll be a lot more popular and there'll be a lot more companies out there wanting people to test and try out different types of resins, as long as they don't smell, that is.
Supposed to be a bunch of new filament out, plant-based. I haven't, so far I haven't tried any of it.
I believe the stuff I'm getting off Amazon, I'm using Gray, and it's around, I think, $39 a bottle.
$39 a liter. That's about right. That most of mine is Gray. In the Form 2, I usually don't use the Form resin because it's really overpriced. There's an aftermarket one, and I'm trying to think of the name of it. I'll think of it here in a minute, but I buy one Form cartridge and I print with it, and when it's done, I refill it with the third party, and I don't know how many times you can refill it, 5 or 6 times, and then the Form 2 says that it won't use the cartridge anymore. It's an expensive printer to own.
Is Germany and the UK? Somebody's making a comment, Delagos 3D printing, that Germany's not in the UK. I have no idea. Well, we'll find out. I'll contact Zena, and if it's not, I'll let him know. But maybe it's not. It's in her region, hopefully. Okay. Sorry to get sidetracked. Here's another picture of Irv here of the whole room, or most of it. This was in like a high school gymnasium.
No, it's a big like convention center, but it's about the size of a high school gymnasium. Last year when I went, probably 30%, maybe just a touch more, of the tables were empty. I just went as an attendee last year. This year it was packed. They were sold out. There were no empty tables other than a couple no-shows. In the middle are all display tables, and around the outside are sponsor tables from vendors. E3D was there. TH3D was there. In fact, they were right across the walkway from me there. Micro Swiss, just all kinds of. If you're into 3D printing, there's two kinds of events you can go to, and both are great. There's a Rep Rap Festival, and there's a Midwest one. There's this East Coast one. There's one on the West Coast. But then there's also maker fairs. They are very different events. The maker fair is anything and everything. Cosplay, woodworking, any type of making at all. So that's very interesting, but not specifically targeted towards 3D printing. These Rep Rap festivals are all 3D printing. So both great types of events.
And recently from Sanix, I think I showed this on my last live stream. I printed out the Sanix Halloween version resin of Deadpool, and I put LEDs in it, and his eyes light up in red, and it came out really good. And that's on my Elegoo Mars that I printed that in Elegoo Gray resin. And then I figured, well, let's make it a little bit bigger. So here's what I'm currently working on. This is at 225%. It's going to have red lights in for the eyes, and then I'm going to put his covers in. So when it's not lit up, it'll be white and look just like Deadpool. Then you flip the switch, and then the glow of the LED will glow through the red eyepiece. But I still got a lot of painting to do on it, and then the base, I got a lot of work to do, but it's getting there. And that's
how many spools is that, Jerry?
Let's see, ZYLTECH Uncle Jesse silver metal. I think it was like 1.5 spools.
Oh, not bad.
Spools. Yeah, it took quite a bit. It's got 4% infill in it, and my layers on it were 6/4.
Squeeze Studio here is making a comment about the rotary toothbrush. That is a great tool. That was probably the #1 hit at the Earth Show. Other people that stopped by the table when I showed them the printed pieces with the putty on it and the sander, it was just like the lights were going off, and one guy says, "You're an evil genius." It's just a great tool, and the biggest thing is you're scaling the tool down into the realm of the model itself. And I think I probably got $6 or $7 involved in it. Cheap toothbrush set from Walmart, some sandpaper and some art foam. It's a great tool. I haven't yet, but I'm going to experiment with printing out some different shaped heads so that I can glue the shaped head onto the toothbrush, and then different shapes so I can get like a foot and some squares, and for different sizes, even some rounded shapes, so that I can get into like scallops and folds of cloth and whatnot. Really what you can do with it is endless. I suppose you could even glue like some Scotch-Brite pads on it and use it to scuff stuff up. Just imagination, you know.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've never thought about using spot putty with acetone. I put it on straight with my thumb and then lightly sand it, and then I have to go over it. But I never thought about thinning it down with acetone and getting all the cracks and crevices.
When you could use the brush, it's almost like your brush becomes a sculpting tool, because you can wedge it in to all the crevices and cracks, and then you can brush it along. If you go across that grain, you're really filling. And I know they say acetone won't do anything to PLA, because you can't do like the acetone treatment like you can to ABS. But I've noticed that the acetone does soften the PLA just a touch. But the real thing that it does is it makes that putty, it dries like crazy quick. So you can slap on a thin coat, and then you can hit it with the sander in, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes, and then you can do it again.
I had the soft pastels I haven't been using much lately. They're just kind of sitting. I've had health issues, and there's a lot of things I haven't been doing, so I haven't been working with them lately. Well, that's pretty much a wrap. I've showed everything. We've talked quite a bit here, and I'd like to thank everybody for dropping in. Stick with me here, Walton, just a minute. Let me say goodbye to everybody, and I'll be right back with you.
Okay. Thanks everybody for tuning in and taking part. Appreciate it.
Well, that's about it, guys. Everything we've talked about here today, I have links just in the description below to a lot of the different sites. And there's links to ZYLTECH down there, and TH3D Studios, Amazon links for around the world. Links to StreamYard if you'd like to try out this program for free. It's an awesome program to talk, with between your friends or go live. They got a free and a paid version. And I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in. This is the first time I've done this on a weekend. And I guess that's about it. So thank you very much. Please like and subscribe, so the next time I do a video or a live stream, you'll be notified of it right away. Just want to thank you very much. And everybody have a wonderful day.